Hey everybody, Tim Rosgany here. People talk about peace of mind a lot. It's this idea of this place we want to arrive at. Oh, if I could only get peace of mind. I'm just looking for some peace of mind. And I understand that. I've come to believe there's something even more important and more profound, more attainable, more simple than peace of mind. And I'm going to call that peace of soul. And I believe that it's possible to have peace of soul even when you don't have peace of mind. So, let me explain, and let's start with the mind. Um, my mind, which is the only one I know, it's a fascinating place. It's interesting, nice place to visit. You wouldn't want to live here, believe you me. But it has served me well in my life in many ways. I built an entire career that was based on using my mind. I'm really good with words and numbers. I have a great imagination. I'm creative, um, and and I treasure that stuff, and I value it. But I also believe that my mind has been my the biggest obstacle in my life in many ways. It feels like it's felt like a trap, um, and I think that's because early on I realized I had a good intellect or whatever. I just it was a place to escape because it was easier to be in my mind than to be in my heart. As a kid, feelings and navigating feelings and all of the complexity that comes with that, it was too much. It was overwhelming. So I needed a place to be that was safer. And my mind was a good place to be. So I kind of escaped. And I've spent most of my life in my head. And I've spent most of my journey on the path to healing trying to travel that, seemingly short but horribly long distance between the head and the heart. It's a journey back to my heart. So I appreciate the mind, but it's been, um, let's say, what is it? It has not been a peaceful place for me. It's been a minefield, if you will. Yuck, yuck, yuck. But it is not, it's for me, the mind is a place where it's the ego. That's where the ego lives. That's where the false self lives. That's where the inner critic lives. Um, and though it's not a happy place. So and it's something that I struggle to shut it off. And if I wake up early in the morning, if I wake up at 2 or 3, if my mind kicks in, boom, off to the races. And it can be very difficult to shut that down. I think some of you might know what I mean by that. This experience of the mind as having, just kind of taking us and hijacking us. And these thoughts that come from seemingly nowhere, zipping in, zipping out. It can feel like, I don't know, playing a pinball game while riding a roller coaster on a carousel. It can be crazy making. So, I value my mind. I also recognize the limitations. And I recognize that, like I said, the mind is the place where the false self lives. And for me, the false self is that accumulation of all the conditioning that got put in me as I was growing up. And and again, yeah, stuff that I didn't ask for, but I got I got programmed with a story of what the world was, what life was about, who I was. And it was a story that had been passed down. Some of the story was thousands of years old. Some of the story that I was programmed with had been around for thousands of years. So, and but it's what I was given. So it's how I interacted with the world. And I've come to see that all that stuff is just a story. It's just stuff that was handed to me, and it doesn't represent what I really am in this universe, in this amazing universe. It represents what I was told. So peace of soul for me, um, it's a different approach. It's an acknowledgement. I get peace of soul by seeing the the stuff that's in my head and seeing where it comes from. And oh my God, did I spend so many years criticizing myself um, for things that would come up and things that I might do or say, and that was all being run out of the conscious mind and reactions that were based on programming. And oh my, I ripped myself left and right and over the coals. And I've started to change that I don't do that anymore. I've replaced that critic. I'm replacing that critic in my head with a curious observer, so that instead of looking at myself and saying, "Oh my God, what the hell's wrong? Why did you say that? Where did that come from?" You know, um, I'm I'm looking at myself when something happens that comes from this place inside me, this old place, this conditioning, this programming. I look at myself and say, "Oh, hey, well, look what you just did. Wow, where did that come from?" And half the time I know where it comes from because I've spent a lot of time with myself, so I'm familiar with I've become aware of my programming, and so I can look at myself with compassion. So I guess one of the keys for me to peace of soul is this, and I will just offer this as a thought: stop looking at yourself uh, and criticizing all these things inside you and looking at yourself as something to fix. Um, Start looking at yourself with curiosity and compassion and acceptance and love. Look at yourself as an interesting creature, which is you certainly are, as am I. And so when something comes up, you look at it and say, "Oh, okay. Oh, where did that come from?" Not where did that come from? What the hell's wrong with you? But where did that come from? And think about it with some detachment. Um, and you will see dollars to donuts, I betcha, that some that stuff comes from inside. It comes from conditioning and programming that you didn't ask for, that was given to you, that was handed to you by other people. So, and it's sort of the irony is we have to accept our we have to declare defeat in some ways. If you think you're going, if I think I'm going to overcome all those things that were programmed into me, I don't want to spend the rest of my life fighting that fight. I don't want to do that. I would rather accept that I was programmed and accept that stuff's going to come up that comes from that programming, and I can see it and I can understand it, and it doesn't have to run me. I can look at myself with compassion and kindness, and I can choose to behave differently than my programming, and I can choose to write my own story and come up with my own way of looking at the world. And I do believe at the end of the day, here's what I think, that you're not your conscious mind. I'm not my conscious mind. I'm so much more than that. That is that's the programming, that's the conditioning. That's not who I am. That's not what I am. What I am is this creature who was born into this amazing universe, a being of immense potential, light, energy, kindness, love, uh, wonderful capacity. And I got programmed with a bunch of stuff from way back when, and and a lot of it was it ain't true. It ain't real. It's a story. And so I'm more than that. I'm more than that story that I was handed. I'm more than the story I'm writing. Um, because I accept my limitedness as a human being. What it means to be human is to have limitations. What it means to be human is to be programmed, and to so it's you know don't spend the rest of your life trying to undo your programming. Spend the rest of your life trying to have compassion and acceptance. and trying to understand and see the programming. And when you do that, you actually gain tremendous power because you have the capacity to say, oh, okay, I see where that comes from. I don't have to react the way I used to react. So, peace of soul versus peace of mind. Accept the fact that the conscious mind is a distraction machine. Accept the fact that the conscious mind is, stuff comes from all over the place, and it is a kaleidoscope. It's a carousel riding on a roller coaster, with fireworks going off. And it is what it is. It's not you. It's not what you are at the end of the day. That's not your true self. Your true self is so much more than that crazy whirlwind of stuff that goes on in your head. So, with that, I hope some of that resonates. Um, you will, if you like what you hear, if you like what I've shared, please like this video and share it. You'll see a link to a more recent video coming up. You'll see a link to subscribe to this channel if you like the content. I appreciate you listening, and I wish you well. Please be kind and gentle to yourself, and I will look forward to talking to you again soon. Take care.